See the local fisherman's up and about early this morning. Wonder if he's caught out yet. I think he's keeping it empty by the looks of it. Got to admit, I'm a bit of a sucker for funny boat names. This one caught my eye on the cruise by, but I didn't get my camera out quick enough. Freudian ship, hilarious. Yeah, so just walking the dog back. Thought I'd share it with you. Hope you appreciate it as much as I do, but then, you know, as you guys are aware, my sense of humour is probably, I don't know, what's the best word to describe it? Well, I think it's very good, but lots of you may disagree. If you're a regular viewer, you'll know that this is where the title sequence normally goes. But I've had a right faff this week with YouTube and copyright claims and whatnot. It's been a right hoo-ha. So I can't use that at the minute, so you just have to have these random clips instead. I suppose if you're not a regular viewer, then you won't even know any difference. But the question is, why aren't you a regular viewer? If you like the video, give us a thumbs up and get yourself subscribed. Just me again this week, folks. Emma's dying in bed. She picked up some at the weekend. She reckons it's the flu. I reckon it was too much alcohol. I'll let you decide. Yeah, I've been working on the battery boxes to make our batteries legal so we can pass our boat safety. Emma's been in bed for a couple of days and then in the office for a day, and well, she's no good at making the battery boxes, so just me on the vlog this week. Hope you enjoy. While Emma was at work the other week then, I managed to get the batteries moved and wired in to under the bed. However, if we had a boat safety examination tomorrow, these would not pass. Cables and everything are all alright, but ideally, well I say ideally, all the connections need to be covered so nothing can drop across the connections and short anything out, and they need to be securely fastened so that they can't move. At the minute they're just sitting loose on top of one of them boards, them phenolic boards I picked up the other week. So my job for today is to make a nice battery box, keep them all secure, and I'll have a lid on so it covers all the connections, so that when we have our boat safety examination, which I think, is it due in January, love? I think it's due in January. So when we have that in January, it will all pass. We've had a few electrical dramas this week, haven't we? Yeah. So the lights stopped working, which was a bit of a mission. So I went in the engine room, fuse had blown. So I was like, oh, fuse had blown. Changed the fuse, it blew straight away. Changed it for another one and it blew straight away. So I was right, there must be something wrong somewhere. So I ripped all these little lights out of the ceiling, because that's what I'd narrowed it down to. I think there's probably about 12 of them in the boat. Checked all the cables behind them and they all seemed okay. Oh, what's going on then? Tested them all one by one and they all worked and all come on fine. So then I disconnected them all and tested them one by one straight across the battery terminals, and the last one I tested went up in a puff of smoke, so that was the faulty one. Once I took that out of the system, it was absolutely fine and we got the lights again. Ordered some more off Amazon. They should be turning up tomorrow to replace the broken one, and the one that I didn't change inside Emma's wardrobe, which she keeps reminding me about. So we've got a pack of 4, so I can get that one up there changed as well. You can just see the cables dangling. Just done my measurements and knocked up a little drawing of what I want it to look like. So obviously these are each of the 4 leisure batteries and then the starter battery, and I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a brace across the box in between the sets of leisure batteries, because it's only 12mm ply, so I want it to be nice and sturdy, and there's room for the brace So there's a little lip here, so there'll be a brace underneath that handle, and then the same that side, just to keep it nice and sturdy. That's my measurements done, my little drawing done. So I'm going to knock myself up a cutting list, and then I'll go and make some mess on the towpath. Got my little temporary workstation set up on the towpath. Got my cut list sorted. So let's get cracking. Got my vicious attack dog on the towpath too, to keep my tools safe. My saw blade cuts upwards, so this tape should hopefully stop it splintering, leave a nice smooth cut. I think the worst thing about me living on a boat is not having a garage or a workshop. It's fine on days like today, because I can get out there in the sun and I'll always make do with what I got. But if it's raining, I'd have had no chance of getting this stuff made. Here we are then, nice smooth cut under that tape, look, no breakout, no chips, just what we want, nice and tidy. Boom, and that is everything on my cut list. Time to set up the paint shop now. Got my little towpath painting station set up, so let's get this jollop mixed up and see how it goes on. Phenolic ply, buffalo board, whatever you want to call it. I think buffalo board's a brand name actually. So yeah, phenolic ply. So plywood, got lots of layers of wood glued together, and then the phenolic stuff is soaked in phenolic resin, which makes it ultra hard wearing and more water resistant. They use it like outdoors for open trailers and stuff like that. So if you look at like a car trailer, this will be the base of the car trailer. So it's pretty hard wearing stuff. However, once you cut it, you then get left with that bare edge. So that's an edge straight from the factory, so that's treated with the resin, but I've got all bare edges now. I've cut everything. So what happens is, if water gets in there, these layers will delaminate and it'll all puff out. You can get a proper sealer for it. Two problems. One, it's really expensive. I think it's about 40 quid for a 750ml tin. Two, because it's hazardous, I can't get it off Amazon shipped to a locker local to us, or eBay as well, because sometimes eBay do collect plus, but no one will ship it without like a fixed address, and we're a couple of hours away from where we normally get our post sent to now. So instead, I found myself a little recipe online for it. How well it works is yet to be seen, but all it involves is some black Sikaflex, a bit of white spirits and some black gloss paint. Mix it all together, and apparently that's just as good as any edge sealer, so that's what I shall be doing later. I've actually put some gloves on for this because it could get messy. So apparently the recipe is as follows: equal parts gloss and white spirits, and then add your Sikaflex till you're happy with the thickness. So see how we get on. See how much I suffer for your entertainment. Do you know how hard it is to take the lid off a can of paint with one hand while trying to film it with the other? It ain't easy. All for you guys, that is. I hope you appreciate it. Well, that seems to have gone on pretty alright. It's fairly runny, so it's soaked in really well to the end grain. Like, I think I'm gonna, well, because I've got some left, I'm gonna give it a second coat. It's probably a bit overkill for a battery box that's going to be under a bed and not outside, but one, it just looks a bit better because the edges are black, and two, it will just last as long as possible, I suppose. Well, hopefully, if the mix works, we shall see. There we are then. They've all had 2 coats around the edge. All looking pretty good. I'll leave them to dry in what's left of the sun. Day 2 on the battery box then, so I had to leave them out overnight for my mixer, whatever. Sophie, in. Also training the dogs to try and stay on the boat. Good girls. Domino's about cracked it. She sort of knows that she's not allowed off. This one keeps jumping off, don't you, Soph? Stay there. Good girls. Yeah, so I had to leave them overnight for my mixture to go off. It's still a little bit tacky in places, but it's dry enough to work with. But it seems to have done a good job, to be fair. I think like the Sikaflex sort of seals it, and the white spirits and the gloss, well, the white spirits more so soaks into the edge of the board, and the gloss just gives it the nice shiny black finish. So I've got 2 screws in that one already. It's a bit of a pain without any clamps and a proper workbench. Plasterboard screws for 2 reasons. One, because they're black, so it just gives a nice finish. 2, because they should be sort of waterproof with, I think it's a black phosphorus line or something they put on it, coating even. And then plasterboard bit, wherever it is, there it is, when it focuses, just to save me sinking the screws in too far. It's not going to focus, is it? Too much sunlight, but if I pop a screw on the end, you'll see what I mean. So it's almost impossible for me to drive that screw in too far, because the bit holder sits, there we go, it's focused now, sits flush with the head of the screw. So you get a nice flush finish on your screws. When you're screwing into the end of ply, always pilot your holes first, just save it splitting open. One battery box then. So I've just got these little dividers which are going to go in between the big leisure batteries. So there'll be 2 leisure batteries there, the divider, 2 leisure batteries here, and then the starter battery be in that end there. So I'm just going to go and double check my measurements for those, and then go and get those screwed in, and then we just got to pop the lid together. Before I mess about with the batteries then, just going to turn everything off in the engine room. That's the solar turned off, so there's going to be no live cables. I've just isolated the batteries, but what I can also do on the lithium batteries is actually go into the settings on the BMS, the battery management system, and I can turn off the discharge. So once I've done that, even if I drop something across the terminals, nothing will happen because inside it's disconnected. They're all turned off then, so everything's nice and safe under here. Even if there's dangling wires or anything, they ain't going to come to no harm because there's no power going in, because I've turned the solar panels off, and there's no power coming out because I've just turned the batteries off. Nice and easy to disconnect, 13mm socket, and away we go. I know when I put these back in the box, I'm going to have to take like a notch out for these cables to go through on the box and the lid, but I'll wait till they're all in situ before I mark it up and cut it, which is a bit of a pain because it means I'm going to have to put all the batteries in, connect the cables up, see where they're going to go, mark it all up, take everything back out and then cut it, but hey ho, it just means it'll be nice and neat. I only want the one battery out for now, just to make sure my dividers are in the right place. Oh, just lost that bolt. I'll grab that in a sec. The beauty of these batteries as well, the lithium, is I think they're less than half of the weight of the lead acids. Don't get me wrong, there's still a bit of weight to them, but they're nowhere near as heavy as they would be if they were lead acids. I'll have to do a read up and I'll let you know how much they weigh and how much an equivalent lead acid would weigh. Looking good, even if I do say so myself. This divider is screwed in. You can just sit down there underneath the handles. Not screwed this one in yet, so I've just got to screw that in place, but I just wanted to make sure everything fit first. I'll take the batteries out before I screw it in, just in case I slip with the drill. We don't want to be puncturing any batteries. Yeah, it's a little bit of a shame that the starter battery's not 10mm narrower, because I've had to make the box as wide as it is to get the starter battery in, which means there's now a gap down here. So I mean, I could space these out and put a divider down here. Trouble is, I've already got my battery link cables made up, and because it's hefty, I can't remember if it's 50mm or 75mm cable, I think it's 50mm cable, it's quite expensive, so I don't fancy buying any more. So if I was to spread these out, my link cables then wouldn't fit. So I think what I might do, it'll be absolutely fine for now and there'll be very minimal movement anyway, but I shall probably see if I can get some foam or something just to pop down those gaps there, just to take away any chances of any movement. So yeah, get this divider screwed in place, and I did say I was only going to bring one of the batteries out, but I wanted to make sure it all fit before I'd done anything else, and it's going to be easier for me to cut all the access holes for the cables and everything while it's off the boat rather than shoved against the bulkhead. So I shall get this screwed in, get everything wired up so I can see what needs cutting out, and then I can cut out all my little access holes, and then all I've got to do is put that together for the lid, and we have one battery box. Bugger, just going to do my lid and realised I am a little bit short, so I've got to cut 2 more pieces for either end. We're getting there though, nearly done, but before I do that and let the dogs off, have a run around and have myself some lunch. Look at you pair being well behaved, staying where you should. Off! Good girls. Lid almost sorted, got both the ends on. Obviously just got to treat the end grain, and then I've got to take out the notch on the lid for the power cable to get in. The leisure battery, not the leisure battery, the starter battery, which goes this end, is a little bit lower down, so the lid clears that. But because the leisure batteries are a bit taller, I've just got to notch out on the lid for that to accept the cable. So I'll mark that up and then just treat all the bare edges, and then it can go back in. For anyone who was interested in my ramblings earlier about the weight of the batteries, the lead acid versus the lithium, so this is our lead acid starter battery. It's 100 amp hour and it weighs just over 23 kilos. These are our leisure batteries, so they're not actually that much bigger. They're 200 amp hour and they only weigh 20 kilos. So on the face of it, it's twice the capacity for 3 less kilos. But actually with your lead acid, you can only drain those to 50%, so you only really get 50 amp hours. So we've got 4 times the capacity with the lithium, because you can drain those completely empty if you want. They recommend not going sort of below 10-15%. So yeah, theoretically 4 times the amp hours for 3 less kilos. Not bad, eh? Battery box all wired up, just ready for the lid to drop on. And I can turn everything back on then and get dinner on the go. What are you laughing at? What are you laughing at? She's got no right to laugh. She didn't even want to be on the vlog. What are you laughing at?
Nothing.
What?
Because you said you were going to get dinner on the go.
I did get dinner on the go.
You put a jacket of potato in the oven.
It's dinner, isn't it?
It just makes yourself sound like you're going to go muscle up some bloody Michelin.
That took 2 hours to cook. I was cooking dinner for 2 hours.
No, you weren't. You would have been. You shoved it in and did something else for 2 hours.
Oh, alright. And you've got no right to chirp up anyway. What are you doing here? You didn't want to be on the video.
Because I'm ill.
You're ill. She is ill. She reckons she's come down with the flu, but it just so happens that it's coincided with her getting back from not her hen weekend, not getting married again, but yeah, she's been on a hen weekend and then she come back feeling rough. Yeah. I have a feeling it may be slightly self-inflicted, folks.
No, I got Tony's cold. She shared it with me.
Yeah.
This is exactly how Tony sounded.
Well, while you're here anyway, just at the end of the video, you might no, not yet. You might as well stop for the joke of the day. Yes, just in time.
I don't think I can
drum roll, please. So while I was messing with the batteries, I found 2. Oh, hello, Sophie. You joining in? While I was messing with the batteries, I found 2 lumps. So I thought I'd better get them tested. One come back positive.
Yeah.
I hope it's not terminal. Battery positive, terminal. Do you get it? On that note, she's not even laughing. Just shook her head.
That's bad, that is.
On that note, see you later, folks. She might join us next week. You never know.
That's bad, that is, Anthony.
Say bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.